This is Annie Salas, Patreon Sage, and I'm here with another Sacred Union reading. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you've watched my other videos, thank you for stopping by again. I will be doing an extended reading today. My intuitive readings do not use tarot in the traditional way. When I speak of divine feminine, divine masculine, these are not associated with gender. You can cross view, cross understand, weave that in and out as it applies to you. My readings are time fluid as we're moving into higher dimensional reality, which is what the Sacred Union Ascension journey is all about. We are changing our relationship to time. Timelines are merging. We're going through another intense cycle of timelines merging. Old cycles of timelines with dysfunction in relationship of all kinds are closing out. And we're all feeling this if we are in Sacred Union. We feel this happening, and it is happening very quickly. So, I have these flowers on these cards just because they look like wings to me. So here, when I was just playing with my beautiful little dried flower, I have 3 sets of wings here. So I have one for the divine masculine, one for source, and one for the divine feminine. And I just thought that was so sweet, and because of the nature of what's come out in these cards, which I have done a pre-meditation on and asked several questions and done the shuffle and allowed the cards to just show up as they wanted to share current energies. I just thought this was just really a lovely reminder of how Gaia, our beloved planet Gaia, is aligned with our Sacred Union journeys. So let me see if I can stack these up here and have them be happy. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So here's what I want to say from my perspective today as someone who's been on this journey for a long time, and just having gone through the Lion's Gate earlier in August. And today we will be doing another Meeting the Beloved conversational chat. So if you're in the Union, if you're in the Ascension Collective, and you would like to pop in and join in and maybe even ask a question or two or tell us what your situation is, we'd love to have you. And I will have posted the link in the upload of this video, because we're going to be doing this later today, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, around between 2 and 2:30, 3 Eastern Time. We take half an hour for setup, and then we open up the room for folks to just jump in and out as their time permits. So what I want to share with you today is those of us who are on this ascension journey, who have learned the deep inner work of returning to our heart-centered resonance over and 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 over. That is where Source resides in us. It is where our connection to Gaia resides in us. It is in our heart center and in our heart resonance. Those of us who are aligned with Ascension in the Sacred Union journey are disengaged from the solar plexus power center. That's the mental body, and the mental body is shifting and transforming into something that will begin to serve the rest of our energy bodies and will begin to serve the heart instead of trying to control it or master it or destroy it. So in my current program, Your Story or Your Life, I'm sharing with people the transition we are all making from the ego I to the enlightened, awakened, heart-centered me, to the transformed human collective, the ascending we. And this reading today reflects that energy in such a beautiful way. I'm almost on the verge of tears at how beautifully it is reflected in current energies. We know the deep, deep, deep commitment to the inner work that we must do to clear anything and everything out of our energy bodies, out of our transforming chakra system that is not aligned with and directly arriving from source. This is a laborious work. Thank God it has gotten somewhat faster, and thank God we are all helping each other now. And when I say God, I mean source. Thank Goddess Gaia in her planetary evolution for sharing this energy with us as the three-dimensional construction of her as a planetary being is dying. It's terminal. This is not going to be turned around. And there is no other physical, carbon matter-based, three-dimensional planet that is capable of sustaining life in our solar system. And any transitions we're going to make to take all of our wisdom and all of the magnificent energetics of our DNA with us is going to have to be a spiritual and energetic journey, a journey of consciousness. This is difficult to accept. It's as difficult to accept as coming out of your doctor's office and you've been told you have a month to live. And there's nothing to be done about it. This is where we're at on this planet. This is the timeline for this carbon-based physical planet. It is dying. So the journey we are on now, those of us who can accept this and be heartbroken about it because we have spent time here and we love this planet. We love her. We love the beauty that she has managed to continue to co-create despite horrible, 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 horrible distortion in being imposed on her for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So those of us who are on this ascension journey dearly, dearly, dearly comprehend the value of having a process, of having an understanding of how we go within and truly transform, heal, and deal with the parts of ourselves that are not in alignment with Source. And we now have so much help that, gosh, it's almost like, I have so many metaphors for this, it's ridiculous, but today I'm really feeling it emotionally because there's been a level of interference that's been working to disrupt sacred unions, and both the divine masculine and the divine feminine have been buffered and battered around by this interference. And I'm sure many sacred union, divine masculine and divine feminines have fallen into separation and will not complete their union missions. And this breaks my heart. This breaks my heart. So this message is for those of you who just got so tired and so weary and who were so messed with and battered and bruised when the astral realm was being taken down. So many of us were battered and bruised. We fought and fought and fought and fought and fought for our awakening. So let me just say that the inner work that those of us who are awakening are doing is essential to the ascension process. It is not about healing this planet. It is about healing the parts of us who chose to destroy this planet. I know that's a little heavy, but that's where it's at. So I want to start this reading with that statement, because unless you really have that deep, deep commitment and deep understanding of what the ascension journey is about for you on a personal level and for you at a collective level, you're still subject to the interference. The interference that I categorize as the system of separation, and it has many components and parts. But the main thing you need to know is that it is aligned with magic. It is aligned with manifestation that is service to self. It is aligned with black hole, soul-sucking entropy, from which there is no escape and from which there is no return to source. Again, very heavy, but the reading is not going to be that heavy. The reading is actually quite beautiful. So, understanding the interference that's been thrown at sacred union counterparts, this reading is about a turning point. A turning point. And for many of you, you will be experiencing this turning point as a new timeline that you and your divine counterpart have chosen together to remember who you are and to continue your ascension journey together. Even as you are healing into your wholeness, your individuality, and your sovereignty. These two things are not mutually exclusive. Weaving these together is what sacred union is so much about. It's coming out of duality and living your life in the beautiful source-aligned energy of the Holy Trinity, the third way, divine feminine emerging from source, divine masculine emerging from divine feminine and source, right behind nanoseconds in time. Almost simultaneous, but not quite. So, take a deep breath. Depending on what your situation is, grab a cup of coffee. I am going to do an extended, but I wanted to give the context of where this reading is coming from based on my meditation. So this is what I want to share with you first. The core energy, the core dynamic of this reading in energy is the topsy-turvets and the maiden. The topsy-turvets represent the energy of a radical change in perspective, a complete shift in the way we are seeing ourselves or seeing someone else or seeing the world. That's a beautiful energy to relax into and allow yourself that shift of perspective and simply relax and let go of what needs to be released from perspectives you have been holding that have not been contributing to your union in yourself or with your divine counterpart. The other energy here, and these are the oracles, the fairy oracles, which I adore these cards because they have a different cultural frame of reference, which I really appreciate. The maiden is about new beginnings. It's about innocence and fun and lighthearted joyfulness and being completely open to what is new and what is true. And so with the combination of these two cards, a dramatic and transformational shift in perception and seeing things from a new angle, and the maiden, which is the new energy, the new life, the new beginning, the new enthusiasm, the new return to heart that always brings expansion and more love and more understanding and more energy to continue on the journey. So that's what at the core of this reading. And we also have Shia the Kruak, which is the Divine Mother coming right out of Source. This is her energy. And she is supporting this radical shift in transformation in the union, possibly of how you see your counterpart. possibly of how you see yourself. A new beginning for greater clarity and deeper compassion and more depth of forgiveness as you continue to choose returning to your heart, which is the function of the sacred union. It is the return to the heart, which is where Source resides, where we are connected to Source. So that is amazing. That's amazing to me, because I know that many of us are in the thick of it right now, and it's been really challenging, as both the divine masculine and the divine feminine are going deeper, moving into a new level of connection, a deepening of the connection, coming into more trust of the connection, and deepening their commitment to keep the connection intact and to do the work that each counterpart needs to do to protect the connection from outside interference that is not aligned with Source, it is not aligned with the union, and would like to see it damaged or destroyed. Now, once we come into a certain resonance within ourselves, that becomes less and less and less and less of a possibility. And what I am asking you to do with me today is to celebrate the confirmation that many of you who are watching this right now, divine feminine, divine masculine, you have reached this vibrational frequency by returning to your heart and unconditional love for yourself again and again and again and again. You have reached the frequency where that kind of interference simply can't coexist with you, and it is dropping away. So let's celebrate that, because that's really awesome, and it's thanks to you, divine feminine and divine masculine, and the extraordinary commitment that you've made to your own healing and transformation and self-love. So kudos to you. All right, so these are the core energies of the reading. Now let's begin, and we're going to move this way, cross, and then to the second row and across, and then after that I will go into the extended reading. So our first card out is Ilby the Retriever, and Ilby the Retriever is about the locator of lost things, and it's also about loyalty. So Ilby in your union, the energy of Ilby in your union is holding the space of transforming the woundedness of feeling the abandonment and the rejection that comes with a loss of knowing that we are loved. So Ilby is helping us retrieve this awareness, this level of wholeness within ourselves. And you can see that this is a loyal, gentle, beautiful energy. And this is the energy that the divine masculine is carrying right now. Remember, this is not gender specific. So this is the first bookend, the beginning of the bookend of the reading. So Ilby the Retriever is here to show us what the journey is that we're on now with the deepening of the connection, and perhaps for the first time a release of the resistance to the connection and a release of the ideas of what this connection needs to look like or how it needs to be and form a sacred union relationship. So that's just gorgeous. That's a 41 on this card, which breaks down to a 5, which is a dramatic change. And so Ilby, the Retriever, is vibrating in frequency to the topsy-turvets, which is a change in perspective. Ilby is holding on to, with deep loving loyalty to that possibility of a sudden change in perspective that deepens the connection and protects the union. Next out, for the divine masculine. We have the divine masculine now, because of this energy coming in, taking up his position as part of the guardian of the gate and the guardian of the union. This is gorgeous, because this means he's accepted the deep connection. And he knows that he has a choice, but he also knows that, again, this is not gender specific, I'm just using the word she, or this person knows that they have such a beautiful and important role to play as the electric energy in this connection. And they're standing now protecting the union rather than being in the energy of sabotaging the union, or not being aware or awake that sabotage is going on either within them or in their surroundings. So kudos to you, divine masculine. The next we have the singer. Yeah, the singer of courage. This has taken so much courage and deep lion heart on the part of the divine masculine. So this is also supporting this transition into the courage to accept a radical shift and transformation. And that is not easy. I had a radical shift and my whole world was turned upside down when I had a spiritual awakening, and I resisted that tooth and nail. I was able to do so for about, took me about a year for everything to fall apart. Because when your union comes in and you're on that path of awakening, your ego is going to resist and resist and resist and resist, because in that process you will absolutely let go of control. And that is something the ego does not want to do. And that is your third chakra. That is where your ego mental body connection lives. It takes tremendous courage to surrender to that and just let go. It takes so much courage. If you haven't been through it, you have no idea. Now, this wave, look at this. We're gonna look at this now as a wave of energy moving across the union and through the union and reverberating through the union. This wave of energy and connection is reverberating through the divine feminine. Here she is, Lise of the shadows, continuing to do her depth work, her shadow work, and taking responsibility for how she has been influenced and parts of her have colluded with shadow to generate sabotage and interference in the union. And so she is really moving fast and moving into her depth of shadow work, and this energy is supporting her. The divine masculine is supporting her. She feels his loyalty. She feels his protection. He feels her courage, and she feels his. So that's beautiful. Just think of this energy moving across, this energy through the union and into the reading and into the bodies and into the lives and into the hearts and into the minds of those of us in union. Now, see her reaching for her healing here. Look at this. This is gorgeous. This is Tabira of the Waters. She is the card of healing, and this is healing water. And as you know, many of you who watch my videos know that I have my own little ad that I put up about Source Solutions Essences, which is exactly this energy of deep, deep, deep Gaia and Source connected healing frequency embedded into water. Here she is reaching for this and connecting with it and receiving it and accepting it. And as this is flowing through her, she's having the part of her intuition that has been clouded and obscured by interference, by deliberate or unconscious sabotage. Her intuition, which is always been very, very strong, is returning with a kind of a power and focus that will be amazing to integrate and embed in your body and into your mission work and into your continued ascension journey. So this is a beautiful realignment of the feminine intuition, which has, in many of your unions, you have been struggling. You have been struggling with that because of the interference from within and from without. Okay, now, again, the energy is moving, and now we're moving into another beautiful, deep level of support here. We have the divine masculine standing up now as the piper, who is playing his own soul song now, and he's feeling very empowered in this. And part of his soul song is transfiguration of himself, and part of his soul song, the sound that he's putting out into the universe, is also the beautiful, powerful transfiguration of the divine feminine as well. And this is leading to the sense of playful innocence, the fawn here, the frolicking fawn. And this is in a way reflective in the divine masculine side of the dynamic with the maiden. The maiden. This is the beautiful resonance of these energies, that the divine masculine is moving now through the union because he has also become clear, and he is bringing this energy into this dynamic. The loyalty, the love, the commitment, the dedication, the wisdom. This is all moving through now and deepening, but also coming to the surface of into breaking through into consciousness. So next out we have the Oakmen, and this is where this energy is breaking through into the consciousness of the divine masculine. Divine masculine, you're deep awakening at a deeper level, and you're going to see how your wounding, your own issues of wounding, you're deepening in the healing of those issues, and you're doing so much more inner work yourself, and you're awakening to how your unhealed core wounds have been part of the energy of self-sabotage, sabotage of the feminine, and sabotage of the union. And you're waking up to this, and you're feeling the emotional connection to it, and you're feeling a sense of responsibility for it, not in the sense of guilt, blame, or judgment, but in the sense of, oh, now that I can see it, I can transform it. And then here comes the divine feminine saying, yep, let's do it. Let's transform it. I'm here to help. You transform yours, I'll transform mine, and we'll transform ours. And so this is beautiful. This is the fairy godmother, which is, she's downline from Shia the Cruac, and she's got it, and she knows how to do it, and she's not fooling around. So we have this now, this energy moving, rippling through the union, and this is generating the radical shift in perspective and the sense of a new beginning that will move through into the conscious awareness of you, divine feminine, in your embodiment, and you, divine masculine, in your embodiment. And you're going to start to be making different choices and engaging in different actions. And you're going to stop self-sabotaging, and you're going to stop sabotaging the union. And you're going to be ready to deal, really, really deal with how this combination and this combination can absolutely heal the deep wounding that is part of our ascension journey, clearing that up, healing that up, transforming all that energy back into neutral energy that can be returned to source, We're doing this together now. This is the partnership, the embodied partnership, breaking through to the conscious mind, the recognition, the appreciation, the gratitude, the value, knowing the worth of yourself and of your partner, and protecting the union rather than sabotaging it. This is a big shift. And this leads to the energy of the the fairy who was kissed by the pixies. And this card reflects the divine feminine. You're coming into that deep, deep healing of your wound, your core wound. And I know what my core wounds are. They're different for everyone, but so many of us in this ascension journey are carrying the wounds, the primary core wounds of rejection and abandonment. Because in this 3D earth plane, we have had to struggle against being sold a line of BS that God abandoned us and that we're unlovable. This is the ascension journey, is awakening from that illusion, that system of separation, and understanding how we're going to be in relationship to who we are in our wholeness and our sovereignty and our ability to become conscious co-creators, even as our bodies are still entangled with a physical object, a planet that is dying. So here it is. This is the transformation. This is where we step up. This is where we give all of the love and wisdom and talent and heart that we have as a gift of gratitude to this dying planet. As a gift of love and gratitude and deep appreciation for this planet having taken the abuse that she's taken for so long, so that we might awaken and return home whole. Golly, I'm feeling very emotional right now. Woof. Yikes. Okay, so there's some guidance that came out for this reading for the Divine Feminine. Yes, we have here her return to listening to her inner voice, to really listen and trust it, and to communicate using that inner voice. Communicate with your divine masculine through your energy field, through your heart. Do that first, and the words will come, and the words will be understood and received. And that's, again, a result of diving in and healing any of the distortions that have arisen in your divine feminine intuition while you've been managing sabotage and interference. Okay. For the divine masculine, we have focus. Yeah. And I would say to you right now, while the divine masculine is focusing on all that he needs to do to hold and co-create and build the foundation for the union work, the mission, he's very focused on that. But he's also now focused on protecting the union. He's focused on transforming the interference in himself and in his partner and in the union. Ooh, I'm chills all over. Chills, chills, and more chills. And then here we have, I asked, what is the outcome here? And the outcome is soul writing. Now here, for me, this is a Merkaba, a version of a Merkaba, a spirit ship, a soul ship, a multidimensional traveling vehicle of consciousness that is aligned with Source. And now the divine feminine and the divine masculine can begin to do their soul writing in the new book of life. They each have a contribution to make to the new book of life, and the soul writing has now begun. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be taking pen to paper or typing or writing something in the sense of words or books, although you may. This is about what your soul is writing now as part of this union, as part of moving into the functional, healthy union. This is what your soul, your sacred union soul, divine masculine and feminine, returning to a balanced, co-creative energy emerging from source. You are writing, you are entering information into the new book of life. All right, those of you who watch my readings, you know I go deep. I'm not going to tell you, oh, new love, oh, you're in your head. There are plenty of other readers who can do that with you, and I actually enjoy watching them because it's a fun change up for me to see how other people are, and where they're moving and floating around and moving around in the energies of human consciousness in an awakening collective, and where some are really very specifically focused on the ascension journey and that whole process and what that looks like. So that's the end of the general reading. Thank you very much for stopping by. And again, I'm going to include the link to our Meeting the Beloved chat this afternoon. And I will be there with 2 other members of our soul group, Anastasia Townsend and David Foyle. And we're going to be talking about some of the ways in which a union can be sabotaged, or the ways in which interference, how it can look, and how you can learn to recognize it, and then what your process is for transforming that interference into fuel that will support and sustain your sacred union. Okay, that's it. Thank you for now. See you next time.